All right, man. We are back for the best time of the week every week. What is that, Lionel?
Yes, sir. We are back for all of your favorite podcasts. Welcome to this week's episode of Off the Top Rope.
Oh, hell yeah.
Before we get into the goodness and the arguments and everything we're going to talk about this week in AEW, first, let me tell you what this podcast is. Welcome to Off the Top Rope. This is a podcast where we talk about every segment of every AEW show that goes in. We have conversations about everything. We give our opinions, good, bad, or ugly. We tell you everything that we like, dislike, or are very meh about in AEW. Mm-hmm. If you like that, make sure you follow us on Blue Sky. All of our social media are on the screen. It was on there last week. It looked, I'm gonna make it look better this week, but it's there. So make sure you follow us. Follow Proffitt at Proffitt. Follow me at Shikoku on Blue Sky, and also follow the podcast at TAGPW Podcast. You'll hear a bunch of our takes there. We do a lot of conversations on there, so definitely feel free and join us in there. Also, if you listen to this episode on the go, if you're not on YouTube already, please make sure that you're listening to us on Podbean and Spotify. That is where you're going to be able to find this podcast on audio. You can listen to us while you're building your PC for Monster Hunter Wilds. You can listen to us while you're playing Monster Hunter Wilds. You can listen to us while you're looking up videos for Monster Hunter Wilds. Or anything else from Monster Hunter Wilds. You can listen to our audio podcast on Podbean and Spotify. I am thinking a lot about Monster Hunter Wilds, if you haven't noticed.
I'm just gonna say, next week our episode is going to probably be. We'll have a command grab coming out that will be talking about Monster Hunter Wilds. So be ready for it, guys.
By the time we record, I'll probably have 20 hours in it. So that works.
Yeah.
But
be ready for them first impressions.
Oh, it's gonna be so great. But Proffitt, tell the people about the YouTube.
All right, guys. So if it's your first time here on the YouTube channel, I'm gonna ask you to do a few things real quick. So as you're listening to the episode, and you feeling the episode, you feeling it. Tap that like button. It for sure helps us out. And man, hit the subscribe button, because like I said, we have other podcasts too. So you'll get access to the OVA, which is us talking about anime. And goddamn, there's some good anime, like, the Drip King himself, Sung Jin Woo, kicking ass on Solo Leveling. Dragon Ball Daima. Of course, we gotta follow the GOAT on Shangri-La Frontier. So we talk about that. We also got the Command Grab, which is us talking about video games. And as I alluded earlier, we're gonna be talking about some Monster Hunter Wilds, similar to the way we talked about Path of Exile 2 when we were jumping into that hard. And probably when the 0.2 patch comes out next month, we'll be right back in there and giving you our hot takes and cold takes on that too.
Mm-hmm.
And then finally, you get Off the Top Rope, which is our show that will happen no matter what every week, unless I'm dying from the flu. And I'm not dying from the flu. Fuck the flu. So, with that, subscribe, hit the bell button so you get notified whenever any of those shows come out. And you know what? Let's get to that show.
Man. So usually we have like a little topic that we like to talk about before the podcast starts. I think this week we get straight into Dynamite, because we are going to have a lot of conversation about what has been happening on Dynamite and Collision this week.
Oof. I don't think the people are ready.
I don't think so either, bro.
I don't think they're ready. But too bad, because you're going to listen to this.
Oh, yeah.
So, okay. With Dynamite, we're going to start out with Dynamite. Man, it started out great. We had MJF and Hangman Adam Page face to face. Now, I'm not going to go verbatim what they say, because that's very long-winded. It's very long-winded, but it was actually one of the better versions of those segments that AEW has had. So I'll give them that. So right in the beginning, like they both get into the ring. They're both on different sides of the ring. They're both doing a stare down. They're staring at each other. They're letting the crowd get into it. The crowd's getting into it. So MJF starts by talking his history. You know, him being the multi-time, champ of different divisions, the 6-time Dynamite Diamond Ring winner, and he ends with his shtick with that he's Maxwell Jacob Freeman and he's better than you. Oh, and he also talks about all the people he's beaten, which is pretty much he's like, hey, your favorite wrestler, that's been here, I've beat them. And then he starts listing down some of those wrestlers. And yeah, he talks about winning the Dynamite. The first time he won the Dynamite Diamond Ring was against Hangman Adam Page. And main eventing Wembley Stadium, everything. He's pretty much listing his achievements and saying he's better. Hangman gets his turn to speak, and he's like, hey, why the hell are you talking to me like I don't know who the hell you are? Which I thought was great. He's like, why are you telling me these things? I know who the hell you are. I've literally been here. So he's like, hey, you listed all of your achievements and you're still angry. Is there something that you haven't been able to win? And Hangman looks at the crowd. And MJF does his MJF thing where he freaks out when somebody is on to him. MJF gets angry. He says he doesn't care about what any of these fans have to say, or even if they care. And then he starts questioning the fans about all the shit Hangman has done. And he's like, hey, you guys are hypocrites because he's done all this crazy stuff and you're still cheering him. Which he's got a fantastic point. And he ended with the quoted internet thing that the fans always say Hangman did nothing wrong. And then he ends it with, he starts talking about Christopher Daniels. And that's when Hangman is like, yo, hey, Christopher Daniels is 10 times the man you'll ever be. And he's like, his last wrestling match, he died a warrior's death. And that was the way he would have wanted it. And then Hangman was like, Max was kind of laughing. And then he's like, Hangman looked at him straight in his eye. And he was like, hey, if your career ended tonight, and he stopped himself mid-sentence. He's like, hey, if you don't get to wipe that shitty grin off your face, you might have to end. It might just end tonight. He's like, would they say you're great or a coward? And MJF gets pissed off and gets into his face, and like he asks Hangman this question: name one thing that you do better than me, Hangman. Hangman looks at him. He's like, I'm real. I'm like, okay, Hangman. You couldn't have said it better. And at the end, MJF says something I really like that he said it. He's like, you can be the main character, but I'm fine being the villain. And, after that, they both stop talking. They're staring down at each other, and then Hangman pushes MJF. And MJF is like, he's like, oh, okay. And then he spits on Hangman and then leaves the ring. And Hangman was about to go after him. And then security got to Hangman, and Hangman's like, well, I can't touch Max, but I can beat the shit out of you. So he just proceeds to kill all security. Daniels comes out and pulls Hangman off of the security. Hangman almost turns around and decks Daniels, and he stops and then he cools off. And yeah, that was the end of that segment. What did you think, man?
Man, where do I start? Because I have a lot of thoughts. The first part is I've come on this podcast a lot saying that I hate when AEW starts with promos because it doesn't always work for me.
Yeah.
This one worked for me.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's two of the best talkers in the industry going back and forth, telling their story. Both of them being damn near, well, Hangman for sure more than MJF, but both being day one AEW stars, right?
Yeah.
Two very decorated wrestlers in AEW finally butting heads after like 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
This is what I want to see whenever they want to do like a promo package at the beginning. Get people who are interesting, people who the crowd loves in the ring. And I've been talking shit about the Hangman stands for a while now. Talking about they're insane. And like you said, MJF had a really good point. Because Swerve did a lot of stuff. Well, Swerve broke into his house, for sure, right? That doesn't equate to burning a man's house down. Like, that's not equal. Like, that's not how that works. But MJF has a point. Because people, up until the source of beginning, people were all for Hangman. Right now, people are all for Hangman. Hangman he's fighting his demons. You can see it even in his little mannerisms. Like, you can see him trying to fight back the demons of being who he's been over the last, like, year.
Yeah.
Hangman is just fantastic. And I think MJF brings that out of him, too. And Hangman was already going to do this. Hangman's always been this. But having someone as, like, cartoonishly evil as MJF on the other side, it makes the entire thing work. It was a fantastic promo segment. And it made me really hyped to see this match when it happens at Revolution.
Yes, sir. Yeah, same here, man. Man, yeah, that whole segment, as you said, two of the best talkers in AEW finally clashing, because I don't think they've had like a proper feud yet, right?
Mm-mm.
And it's just, to me, it was damn near perfect, because it's like you have this crazed anti-hero that's trying to veer back into being a hero, which is Hangman. And then you got the pure villain, MJF. And they're finally clashing, and they're finally having a war of words. And yeah, it's just nothing but great TV right there. I thought it was great. I thought the whole segment was great.
I do wonder, because now we're for sure on the Hangman redemption path, right? Like, we have to be. He's fighting the ultimate evil in MJF. And you saw him talking highly about Christopher Daniels. You talked about how there was a point where he was about to hit Daniels at the end of this. He didn't. There is a lot that Hangman has going on with him right now, right?
Yep.
This is going to be his transition back to being like cowboy shit Hangman Adam Page. I don't think it's gonna finish with MJF. Like we've talked about it. At some point, he has to go to Swerve. Because no matter what, this redemption can't finish until him and Swerve do whatever they're going to do. Either be it they might fight again, they might try to work something out, but Hangman cannot be the Hangman that we knew as the world champion Hangman until whatever happens with Swerve happens. But this is a very good place to stopgap him for a little bit. Fight.
Yeah.
The anti-hero versus the ultimate evil, and it just works so well. It doesn't help that these two are also two of the most decorated wrestlers in AEW right now too. So like it all of it just works so perfectly.
Oh yeah, and that match is gonna slap.
It's gonna be so good, bro. I cannot wait.
It's gonna be a fucking damn good match. Oh man, yeah, the whole segment, man, that shit was great. So like right after this, do you have anything else to say about the segment?
Do I? No, I'm good.
Okay. To continue, like right after this segment, we had a Grand Slam recap video package. This is great. They're doing the things that they need to do now. They're finally doing it.
It's about damn time.
Giving people a recap and all that stuff. Like, it was great that they did the recap for Grand Slam. I like the video package. Video package was great. And the next match that we're going to get is the Patriarchy versus the Ops. But before that, Renee is with Roddy Strong and the Undisputed Kingdom. And, Roddy is talking about, he's talking about the match tonight. And he's like, hey, he's like, hey, Kyle, I know he's your boy, but I got to beat him. And Kyle O'Reilly's like, hey, the conglomeration isn't a faction. It's just a group of people that we just chilling. It's a group of people that like hanging out. That's it. He's like, yeah, Orange Cassidy is my dude, but you know what? Hey, Orange Cassidy, we about to get your back, bro, today. You'll get your ass whooped today. So, and then, Adam Cole is like more intense now. That was the one thing I caught from this whole thing. He's fired up. He's intense. He's looking like NXT Adam Cole, if you ask me. Going back to that heelish side.
Mm-hmm.
After that, we get back to the Ops' entrance. And, they all come out. What I'll say about it is this. They all need to cross their arms at the same time. That's all I'm going to say.
It was
Because the only thing that looked awkward was Hook.
It was really distracting. Hook did not know that was going to happen, right? Like, Samoa Joe and Shibata were, like, just on it. Because that's just what they do. Hook's not that guy yet, so he'll get there, right? He'll get there eventually.
He's a training.
He's an op in training.
He's a shooter in training. That's what he is. He did it at the end, but it was like, God damn it, Hook! Don't stop acting like Hook. You gotta be part of the Ops now. Come on. You gotta be in the team. You gotta have that team arm cross, staring at the assholes in the ring. That's what you gotta do. So they all get there. Shibata backs Hook and Samoa Joe up. Says, "Hey, I'm gonna take this first." And it started with Shibata and Kip Sabian. They were chain wrestling for a minute. It was some good stuff. Him and Kip Sabian. Kip Sabian was, but you're chain wrestling Shibata, so you ain't getting the best of that. No, Shibata was locking him up, dude. Of course, Shibata came out on top. Also, he tags in Samoa Joe. He trips Kip Sabian. Kip Sabian kind of does rolls over because he was trying to anticipate the Zenton, and he anticipated wrong and laid flat on his back, and then got the Zenton anyway. Nick Wayne came in the ring. He gets tripped. Samoa Joe Zentons him. It was pretty dope tag moves. Kip Sabian tagged Christian Cage, and it was Samoa Joe in the ring. Christian Cage wanted no piece of that. And he tagged Nick Wayne in, and then Nick Wayne got brutalized in the corner, man. He got his ass kicked. Everybody was taking shots on him. Mother Wayne then jumps up and distracts him, and then the patriarchy took temporary control. Notice how I say temporary control. Mm-hmm. Until Hook got tagged in, and Hook then proceeded to suplex the hell out of everybody. He looked like a mini Taz out there, just suplexing the shit out of everyone. So at one point, Nick Wayne counters, and then he runs up the top rope, tries to get the Wayne's World. Hook catches him with the Red Rum, and as Hook has him in the Red Rum, Nick Wayne's trying to hold out. Christian Cage was about to run into the ring. Samoa Joe gets in the ring, and Christian Cage is like, nope. Runs out of the ring, and then Nick Wayne taps out while looking at Christian Cage. But yeah, overall, good match. The chemistry between those three guys, I think, is great. The Ops. They're going to get a few more matches, and I think they're going to be a good trios, overall.
Oh yeah.
What do you think, man?
I feel like the only thing that was just really stuck out to me in the match is how much Christian was abandoning Kip and Nick Wayne in this one, right?
Yeah.
They've been playing this up a little bit more where he'll let them be the sacrificial lambs and just let them do whatever, get beat up. It's been happening. It happened a lot in here. Christian didn't really take a lot of damage in this one. It was mostly Kip and Nick Wayne that got their asses beat. So I want to see where that goes, but that's really all I have.
Yeah, I don't think Christian was really in the ring. Anytime Christian got beat up, it was outside the ring, and that was it.
Mm-hmm. He tacked himself out a couple times pretty quickly, too.
Yeah, he saw Samoa Joe, and he's like, nope. I don't want any piece of that. Smart guy. So right after this, we got the Revolution. So the match for Revolution is going to be Hangman versus MJF. That's when that gets announced. And then we got a recap from Global Wars, and Bandito hitting I think it's called the 21-point suplex on Chris Jericho and pinning him on the last Ring of Honor show.
which
was great because it had the Outrunners and Luchador masks.
which if you haven't watched Global Wars, you should. It's a really good show. Athena and Alex Windsor main evented, which was a very good main event, but the whole show was really good. Plus, that crowd was still really hot. It was still full in there from Australia. Great show.
Yeah, awesome. So it goes to Renee with Chris Jericho, and Jericho's pissed. For once, he's not doing a silly promo. He's not doing anything. He's just pissed off. He's like he's pissed off that no one's giving him the respect that he deserves, and then he challenges Bandito for Collision for his Ring of Honor World Championship. So yeah, we're getting that for Collision, which was some good. It was a good match actually.
We gonna talk about it.
Yeah, we're gonna talk. So right after this, it was Hobbs versus Big Bill. I said Big Bill? Jesus Christ. Big Bill street fight. Man, so this match, you got two hosses in a street fight, man. Oof.
Damn good match.
It was a damn good match. Big Bill didn't even get to the ring. Hobbs was about to come out there and he big boots him from the entrance to the ring. He big boots him from the outside. And then they start fighting. They get to fighting in the crowd. They come back down. At one point, Hobbs is channeling the inner meat chant. So, everybody's chanting meat, and he's getting them to chant meat, which is great. And then he started splashing Big Bill on the outside. He did one, and then he was like, again, and then he started to run back for the second one, and Big Bill threw like a sound mixer at his knee. Like pinpoint accuracy, too. I was like, damn. That shit looked like it hurt, though. I'm not going to lie. It looked like it really hurt. Big Bill then gets a wrench and then starts swinging wildly at Hobbs. He's missing all these shots. And at one point, he hits the side of the ring. It hurts his hand, so he drops it. Hobbs gets the better of him for a minute. And Big Bill gets the wrench again and hits Hobbs upside the head, busting Hobbs wide open. After that, he gets the steel steps. He pulls those out. He chokeslams Hobbs on the steel steps. Brian Keith comes out, does a little interference, and then starts setting up the table outside, the barbed wire table. They get back into the ring. Hobbs scoops up, starts beating up Big Bill, scoops him up. He's about to power slam him. And as he's about to do that, Brian Keith slides in the ring, and he has a chair. Hobbs punches the chair out of his hand. Kind of a callback to New Japan Gabe Kidd versus Hanari.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to get that one right.
Dog pound steel cage match from Ospreay's last New Japan match. Funny enough, great match too.
So Hobbs punched the chair. It's really funny that I mentioned the Gabe Kidd part. So you guys will get it in a second.
We gonna talk about it.
And then right after that, hold on, let me turn my page. I got the new glasses too, so I can read.
Ooh.
All right. Oh yeah, I even noted it was the chair spot from where it was from. And then so then he picks up Brian Keith and chokeslams him through the side table. Brian Keith is done. Him and Big Bill then fight back to the outside. He picks up Hobbs picks up Big Bill, does the world's strongest slam onto the stage. All you hear is a big thud. And then he hits Big Bill so he gets the backpack, Big Bill's backpack. He hits Big Bill with the backpack, and then he's like, yeah, I know what's in here. And then he starts pouring out all the stuff from the backpack, which is basically a backpack full of bricks. And then right after that, they start fighting some more, and then he picks up Big Bill, and then he tosses him from the top of steel steps. So they're on the stage on top of steel steps, and right under them is the barbed wire table. He tosses them from there through the barbed wire table, and Aubrey starts to count. Big Bill can't get untangled from the barbed wire, and 10 count happens, and Hobbs wins the match. Such a great match.
It was so good. I don't think the match was supposed to end though. I really like it. It might have been, and I could just be overthinking this, but it looked like Big Bill was really trying to get out like real hard, and it looked like he really couldn't get out. Which it could have been me just being like, oh my god, that looks like it's really painful or anything, but I don't know. I could be off base on that one. It's still a really good match though.
Yeah, it looks like Big Bill was supposed to get out of the barbed wire, and then he couldn't get out, so they like just ended it.
Yeah, he looked like he was legit stuck because there was a point where he was like trying to like rip his arm out and he couldn't. And I was like, oh
Yeah.
shit, bro. He might be stuck in that barbed wire.
Like stuck, like kind of like how like way back in the there was a, if you guys are into history of hardcore matches, look up the ECW match between King of the Death match. Sabu versus Cactus Jack. No, that was Cactus Jack versus Terry Funk. No, there was a match. Oh, damn it. It was ECW, barbed wire ring. It was Sabu versus, I think it was Terry Funk. But at one point, Sabu, his arm gets caught in the barbed wire, and he gets, literally he rips his arm off, and that shit's bleeding everywhere. And then he literally he's like, hey, give me some fucking tape or something. And he wraps up his arm during the match, and he wrestles with it the rest of the match.
Oh,
I'll get you guys the correct match, but I think it was Sabu versus Terry Funk. It was either Sabu versus Terry Funk or Sabu versus Cactus Jack in a barbed wire.
You can let me know. It'll be posted right here. So if you're on YouTube right now, you should be able to see, maybe not the match graphic. I don't know if there's a match graphic, but you should be able to see what the match is. It's going to be on the screen right here, right now.
Yeah, that, and I might get the link and just share it, just for the hell of it.
Throw it in the comments.
Yeah, throw that in the comments, man. But yeah, it kind of reminded me of that. But that's what would have happened, and like the shit would have ripped out. It would not have been good.
Ugh.
So, like after this match, though, Renee was with the Murder Machines, and the Murder Machines are calling out the Hurt Syndicate on Collision. They're like, "Hey, we're gonna be at Collision. You're gonna be at Collision. Let's talk about them tag team titles and getting our shot." And after that, Justin Roberts is in the ring with the worst announcement ever, that Double or Nothing is going to be in Arizona. I'm only saying it's the worst announcement ever because we're in Vegas and it's going to be in Arizona.
Can I get on my soapbox real quick?
Get on the soapbox. Come on.
I saw a lot of you motherfuckers being so happy, like, oh, we're getting Double or Nothing, we're getting Double or Nothing. Fuck you. Look, I fully understand that a couple years ago the Double or Nothing crowd was not good. Last year, Double or Nothing crowd was great. I saw y'all talking like, oh, this is a great crowd, blah, blah, blah. I fully understand that it might have been time for Double or Nothing to leave Nevada, right? I fully understand it. That's the only pay-per-view that's been sticking around for a long time in the same city. Every other pay-per-view's been moving around. I get it. I fully understand it. Fuck you. I love Double or Nothing. I loved going there every year. So I look. I might be going to Revolution. I'm not going to Arizona. So y'all enjoy the show. Y'all have a lot of fun. But just know that I'm gonna be at my house hating on every single one of y'all. Everything cool that happens there. I hope the show sucks.
No.
I don't hope the show sucks.
It'll be fantastic. I hope the crowd sucks so we could get on here and talk all that shit about the Phoenix crowd not being as good as us Las Vegans over here.
Hell yeah. But really, I'm happy that like Arizona gets a pay-per-view. I'm happy it sucks that Double or Nothing for sure. I'm happy to get a pay-per-view because that crowd in there was really good for what they had at Dynamite and Collision. So I'm happy for y'all. Congratulations. It's Double or Nothing's like one of my favorite pay-per-views, mainly because of the fact that I get to go to it. So I'm happy for y'all. But just know I'm gonna be hating. Just know it. I'm
both gonna be hating.
Yeah,
I'm already hating.
Like I'm happy for y'all. I'm pretty sure Proffitt's happy for y'all because it's gonna be a great show. It's great, but I'm hating. Just throwing that out there.
I'm happy because it's AEW expanding and going to more places, but I'm hating at the same time because you took my pay-per-view, Double or Nothing.
We went last year. My sister was so upset when she found out. She was so mad that it's that the Double Nothing's not going to be in Vegas anymore, at least not for this year. So she got upset. I was like, I know, that's fine. We'll figure something else out. It's okay.
Yeah, I'm equally upset. I'm actually probably even more upset. It's okay.
It sucks.
AEW is going to be in another spot. It's fine as long as it comes back home to Vegas next year.
Yeah,
it's cool.
It's like I said, it's great for them. Like I'm happy because it's going to be a great show. I'm happy that expanding. It's great. Selfishly, I like going Double Nothing every year, and we couldn't go every year because pandemic. But you know, I've been to every Double Nothing show that was in Vegas. So it's sad that you know, it's just for this year, it's just gone. We'll see what happens though.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. Maybe we get a different pay-per-view. That would be cool too.
That'd be cool. I doubt it, but it'd be cool if we got another pay-per-view.
Or just give us a Dynamite Collision at the same time. Come on, Dynamite Collision or ROH. Give me all that. Give me all that.
This was AEW's home for a little bit before Jacksonville. Like they did the first announcement here, right? Like it was here in Vegas. So like as much as y'all want to hate whatever, this is AEW's like second home. Jacksonville has now taken over the first home. Understandably, they were in there for the pandemic, but Vegas is AEW's home too. So
Yep. So after that disappointment, we get Toni Storm. Toni Storm comes out and she talks about, taking winning the world title from Mariah May with not just a small package, a big package. I wish I would have quoted the whole thing, but yeah, that was the thing that I got from it. And basically calls out the locker room. She says, hey, if anyone wants a chance to fight for this title, you know where I am. You know where to find me. And she ends the promo with that. But I didn't give the promo justice. You guys need to watch it. It was great. It was Toni Storm doing Toni Storm things, and it was fantastic. But right after this, remember when I was talking about Gabe Kidd? Well, hey, we got the Gabe Kidd video package, and it's showing off all of his stuff at New Japan. And they said, hey, he's going to be there on Collision. And just a heads up, that match was good.
Which is hilarious. Gabe Kidd's been talking so much shit about AEW for months, for damn near over a year, talking a lot of shit about AEW. So we're gonna talk about the match and stuff like that when we get to it on Collision. But I definitely expected I don't know what I expected, but what I was happy with. But we'll talk about that when we get there.
Well, here's the funny thing: as much as he's been talking shit about AEW, he is sure as fuck been in Ring of Honor for a long time.
That's the funny part about it. Like, if you don't watch Ring of Honor, he's been there. Whenever they are in the U.S., Tony Khan's like, hey, Gabe, come on, Gabe, get over here. Defend your title over here. Gabe, do this. Gabe, do that. So, you know.
Yeah. After that, I think we got probably what we're going to get when we get to it, one of the best matches of the night. Because they said right after that, next is Kris Statlander versus Megan Bayne. But that wasn't the next thing that happened. Willow is talking to Renee about last week, and she's like, hey, your husband interrupted me on my precious time, and I got attacked by Marina Shafir. And sure enough, as soon as she said that, Marina Shafir rushes in, and they start fighting each other, and then Marina hits her with the suitcase. And then right behind Marina Shafir is Mox. And he comes out and goes to the ring. And, he's, cutting his thing. He's like, hey, if Cope shows up at Revolution after I already damn near popped his neck. I'm gonna finish the job. So right after that, because him and like all the Death Riders minus Pac is in the ring. That's the key here. Jay White comes out. And then as soon as Jay White comes out, and he's about to take his jacket off and get in the ring against, it's 5 against 1, but that's how Jay White does it.
Mm-hmm.
Pac comes out behind him for the ambush, and Pac is like slowly creeping up, and Jay White is standing around and he's laughing. He's like, okay, and we get Cope's music, and Cope is in. He comes in, and literally him and Jay White clear the ring. There's one spot where Jay White had the Blade Runner on, I think it was Claudio. He sets him up. He's about to do the Blade Runner. Then he lets him go. Adam Copeland spears him. That was some of the smoothest shit I saw all night.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, so Cope starts clearing out the Death Riders. As Mox and Marina Shafir in the ring, Cope rolls out of the ring, gets Spike, and they're like, oh, hell no. He swings Spike at him, and they both get out of the ring, and he chases him up, up through the fans. And then he's like, hey, I know you're a coward because you have to, you have to have all your Death Riders join you on every match. He's like, well, I'm going to declare right now, I'm going to take all you guys out, and it's going to be me and Mox one-on-one. He's like, I'm just going to take out every Death Rider until we fight. And he's starting.
Mm.
And yeah, that was the end of that whole segment. What did you think, man?
I think one of the main things that we talked about on last week's episode was people being worried about what was going to happen after the fact that Copeland lost the match, right?
Yeah.
People weren't really sure what was going to happen. If you've been a wrestling fan, you know that once a match is signed, unless like something happens, the match is going to happen, right? Yep. The only thing Copeland could do was bring the intensity. And what he did makes logical sense, right?
Yep.
The reason that Copeland lost that match was because all the Death Riders came in there and were poking and prodding and cheating and do all this other stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what do you do as rational as a professional wrestler can be? You're going to kill everyone else so your match can be one-on-one. That's the only way it could be. Like, there's no other way that you're going to have a one-on-one match, right? If you can't get the people to come in and help you, like, neutralize it, you kill everybody else. And it just makes the most sense. And plus, I think it helps, too, that Copeland was so intense about the entire thing.
Yeah.
Like, he brought that to another level, which has, I'm not going to lie, I don't know why this has not been a thing before. Like, Darby was a little intense with them, right?
Yeah.
Orange Cassidy isn't the type to be intense, but he was trying to pull it up, right? He was trying to bring out the intensity. Mm-hmm. Copeland has the proper, like, mentality, the proper focus, and the proper anger for this. And it's weird that it hasn't happened a lot before, but it's nice that it's happening now.
Yeah, I think it's mainly because whoever the main... There wasn't like one... I think the issue is there wasn't one main guy going for Moxley, right?
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't like now you can for sure say it's Cope, right? And he, he's always done that. He always brings up the intensity, like for these types of things, for these types of feuds. Mm-hmm. Darby can't say Darby because what's going to happen with Darby is it's going to be a car crash.
Literally, because he literally crashed his car into their truck at one point a few months ago.
Yeah, and then he's going to get tossed around and killed. Like, that's... And then he's going to finally just win. That's Darby. Mm-hmm. Hangman didn't really get into really get into it. They were just throwing in that match, and that was it. Mm-hmm. And then he kind of veered off and went somewhere else. And then Jay White is a different kind of, the way he does stuff is just different, right? He's not he's the cunning guy. He's not going to, you know, get super intense and just like try to take you out. No, he's gonna try to figure out a way to slyly take you out.
Mm-hmm.
He's like the rogue. He's gonna stab. He's gonna find a way, and once he finds the way, he's gonna assassinate you. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, but Cope is gonna hit you head on. And I think that's like, yeah, like you were saying, like no one else has done that. But I think it's also because within their characters, they don't do it. Minus like Hangman. Hangman would do it and like literally burn down their house. But
Literally,
Hangman's gonna do that. Hangman's focus is somewhere else. He's battling demons right now.
the people that would bring the intensity, and this is also something we got to talk about too, right? Because we've had Ospreay has mentioned that he's been trying to go for the world title, has been distracted. Swerve has been mentioning that he was trying to go for the world title, but has been distracted. I think there's one more I'm forgetting. Was
it Ospreay, Swerve?
MJF has for sure, right? He's been talking about.
He's trying to get his way in there. He hasn't been head on with the Death Riders yet.
Yeah, there you go. That's what it is. But we've had a few people that have gone on the record to say that they are trying to go for the AEW World Championship in one way or another, right? Mm-hmm. And those three specifically that we mentioned are the people who would bring the intensity, other than Cope.
Right.
So it is nice to see, and also this makes me really believe that Moxley is not leaving Revolution World Champion. He's not. I don't think he is.
Yeah, we'll see. I don't know, man. Like, because like he takes out everybody and then there's a new member. I don't know who it would be. Hopefully it's not Jay White or anything.
Wouldn't it be some shit if it was fucking Danielson?
But that comes back and is just like the leader.
Yeah, the return, like him, Cope and Moxley are in their like final fight stare down. They're both like bloody messes, right? Because Cope said he wanted like an NWA world title drag out fight. That's what I'm expecting to see happen, right?
Yeah.
They're going like 20 minutes. They're bleeding. They're sweating. They're dead tired. And then all you hear is like Danielson's music, either Final Countdown or his "You're Gonna Get Your Fucking Head Kicked In" song. One of those two. He comes. He looks at Moxley and then he does the knee to Cope, and we're all freaking out. And this is how we get the Death Rider story to continue past Revolution.
I mean, it would bring a different level to the Death Riders.
That's for damn
sure. It could be like, you know, and then like, you know, they ask who the mastermind is, and it's been Danielson the whole time or something.
Yeah. And then, it would be weird, right? Because they killed Danielson to do this, but something.
Well, they had to make it look legit, right?
Yeah.
But that would be weird. Yeah.
It would be weird. I don't think that's going to happen. That was just like a random thing that came to my mind. But realistically, what I think is going to happen is, no matter what, I don't think Mox is leaving world champion, right? It's either Copeland or Christian Cage are going to have that title above their head by the end of the night.
I want to say for sure it's not going to be Christian.
You don't think so?
Nope. I don't think he's going to make it. Or if he does, the Ops is going to just beat the shit out of him.
That could be a thing too.
It's not going to be the Death Riders beating the crap out of him. It's going to be the Ops. And then Moxley takes advantage and wins. He just escapes, right? Like, it would be a way for Christian Cage to lose that contract that he's carrying around all the time. But I think whenever he cashes in, he's going to lose. I don't think he's going to win with it.
I felt that'd be shitty, right? Because like you don't want. I hate to do the comparison. But it's damn near the same thing. Like if you involve Money in the Bank for the first time, like if you do that for the first time, having your first holder lose it's a lit. You can fix it the next year, right? For sure. But having your first holder lose it just kind of sucks, and it feels like they're setting everything up so well. We're gonna talk about what happened on Collision a little bit later, but it feels like they're setting it up so well to be like a Moxley conclusion to lose the world title in my mind. Like I don't know. Like I said, I already didn't want this to go past Revolution anyway. So maybe that's where I'm at too. Maybe that's why I'm thinking that, because I don't want this to continue. I want this to end. I don't care what anyone says. I know there's some people who are kind of turning around on the Death Rider story because Cope's been doing a good job. I'm not. I'm ready for this to be over. I'm ready to move on and do something else with the world title.
Oh yeah, Cope's carrying the story now.
Oh, for sure. It sucks for Jay White because Jay White was the guy, right? Like Jay White was the guy. He was getting beat up a lot, and then we get Cope, and now it feels like that kind of just got forced in there. When it feels like Jay White should have been the one to dethrone Moxley because he was in there every week by himself, just going at the Death Riders. But now Copeland's in the middle of this. He gets cut. He cuts him in line. I don't know. A lot of things could happen, but in my mind, I need for this Death Rider, at least as a world champion, this needs to end. It needs to be over.
It's really hard for me to see Christian cashing in and winning.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's only because of the ops, right? Like the ops are on his ass. Like he shows up anywhere, they're going to be there. Like there's no way they're not going to be there. Right?
Yeah.
Unless they get beat up by the Death Riders, which I doubt. Right? You're not beating up the Death Riders, or for sure not beating up those three.
No.
And taking them out. Right? It's either that or the ops just aren't in the building and Christian wins. Fiona is cool, but it could be the other thing too, which is Copeland wins, Christian cashes in and wins, and then wins. And escapes the ops because the ops are going to be on his ass.
My nightmare scenario.
Your complete nightmare might happen.
Oh God, I don't know. It also could be, we could be thinking about this too, but it could be another like really random thing where Christian tries to do it right, but doesn't even get a chance to cash it in because the ops come in. Like that's a whole another option, right? Like so he can still keep it and just doesn't get the cash in.
Yeah, he has to finish whatever that he's doing with the ops, which is more than likely him fighting Samoa Joe, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they're gonna get that blow off, and then he can finally cash in. But right now, since they're heavily in that storyline, and the ops is like, no, wherever you at, Christian, we're gonna be on your ass. I doubt he's gonna cash in on the pay-per-view. If he does, I'll be surprised. And if he does, or if it could be the other option where he tries to and they just completely annihilate him. He can't even get to the ring. He'll be trying to drag himself to the ring.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, who knows?
It's such a weird situation, right? Because the match is most likely going to be good, for sure. This might be one of the best like Death Riders John Moxley AEW World Championship matches. Maybe we don't even know, but there are so many other little things that could make this like kind of sour the whole thing.
Yeah.
But I think the start of Copeland getting rid of the Death Riders is a good call. We'll talk about that more on Collision for sure. But trying to make it a one-on-one is probably the best case scenario for that match to make it like somewhat decent. Because I don't think we can go through another pay-per-view where the whole card's good and the main event's just like okay. Like this can't be it, right? They got 20. I don't know how many people they have in that building. Crypto can hold like 20,000 people. I don't know how many they actually sold, but all those people in the building, we have to have like some kind of definitive ending, right? And I don't know if everyone wants this story to end. I know I do. We've talked about it, that you're kind of on that same page too. We definitely do need to like have some kind of definitive solution, or bare minimum, someone break the case and let us see the title again. Because it is, and I know what Moxley was saying, like, oh, I'm the world champion, you don't need to see it, blah, blah, blah. Bro, since the whole TV deal, we haven't seen the world title. We barely seen the Trios Championships. They just started bringing those back. So let's wrap this up. The world championship should be on the show. I don't know why we're hiding that gorgeous title for 4 months. Just bring it back, end the story, and let's move on.
Man, this is a great looking world title. It's close to the New Japan title, the old New Japan title.
That V4, bro, the one that I have here. Yeah, it's fantastic title.
Yeah, this is an amazing looking title, man. Then, like my two favorite are That and the New Japan IC title.
Oh, that title's
Ice Trap.
gone too.
And that title's gone.
Ugh.
That was an amazing looking title.
But yeah, man, that's kind of where my thoughts are. We need to find a way to wrap up this, at least this part of the Death Rider storyline. Let's move on. Put the title on someone where we can see it, and let's go.
Yeah, because like the issue is he's gonna be able to take out everybody but Marina Shafir.
But I think they're setting up with Willow. I think we're gonna get like a pre-show Willow Marina Shafir. Also, that's also crazy too because Marina hasn't wrestled since being a Death Rider, at least not on AEW TV.
Right.
So it isn't like a lose for her also, because if she has a match against Willow and she loses, that means she's been the muscle for months, but loses her first match. Like, that's also shitty.
I don't think they're going to wrestle. I think it's just going to be a Willow comes in and stops her from doing whatever she's doing.
That makes more sense, right?
Like, she just, stops her, knocks her out, and then those two start fighting, and maybe those two start a feud, right?
Mm-hmm. Oh, you talk about Beth Phoenix too. That could be a possibility too. Beth Phoenix comes out.
It could also be Beth Phoenix. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
If that's who it is, God help you.
Yeah, that's for sure one and done, right? We don't have to worry about that. Beth Phoenix will come in there. She'll stop anything that Marina's doing because she has the legend power up that people in wrestling have, and we will hopefully move on then too. Whatever scenario that we have, we need a scenario where Moxley is not the world champion anymore. I don't care how it happened. Well, I do care how, but that's a lie. But let's just make this happen.
Yeah, I agree. Some good stuff, man.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna find out though. We gonna find out.
Yes, sir.
But let's see. Right after this, Renee is with Mercedes Moné. And the first thing Mercedes says is, "Hey, we're gonna do this interview, but hey, no surprises, okay?" Renee talks about, hey, how she won her match against Harley Cameron, and oh, by the way, they show the interview between, I think it was Lexi Nair and Momo Watanabe,
mm-hmm.
and Momo is cashing in her, her that what was it, the International Cup, to go against Mercedes Moné.
Shocking
for the TBS Championship.
That's super shocking, but I'm cool with it.
And then after that, Mercedes was of course pissed. She's like, "I thought I told you no surprises." She's like, "Whatever. If you want to go against me, you're gonna have to meet me on Dynamite, face to face, to call me out for this championship." So on Dynamite next week, we're probably going to have a face-to-face between Mercedes and Momo, which, if that's the Revolution match, that's going to slap too.
This is so good. Make sure it happens, please.
I think it's happening. I think it's happening.
That card's so stacked.
Yeah, that card's pretty ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
So next we have our, what I might say is the match of the night.
I fully think match of the night.
I'm pretty sure it is the match of the night.
Low key match of AEW this week, honestly.
Kris Statlander versus Megan Bayne. Let me tell you, these ladies put on a match. And here's the other thing. They got time to do it, which is even better.
Mm-hmm.
They showed up and showed out. But hey, they both got to the ring. This match starts out with both of them, doing the test of strength. And Megan Bayne backed Kris Statlander up to the ropes. And, she did the thing where she let go, but she also hit Stat, right? After that, it was the shoulder tackle battle. Kris Statlander, did the shoulder tackle to Megan Bayne. She didn't move. Megan Bayne did it to Kris Stat. She didn't move. And they were going back and forth, and then Megan Bayne told Kris Statlander, "All right, come on, one more." And Statlander ran to the rope. She kicked her in the gut, and then she ran back, and then knocked Kris Statlander down. But it didn't matter because Kris Statlander got up immediately and was staring Megan Bayne in the face. And then, so there was like a crazy series of events that happened after this. So Statlander gets up and they start doing a series of moves. So at one point, Kris Statlander got knocked down. Megan Bayne does a senton, misses. So Statlander gets up, does a standing moonsault, and then she, picks up Megan Bayne, tosses her to the corner, and then there was a series of things that happened there. Statlander is on top of Megan Bayne trying to do the 10 count punches. Megan Bayne pretty much reverses, walks out of the corner, is about to powerbomb Kris Statlander. Statlander jumps down, does a head kick. Well, does the first head kick, misses. Megan Bayne does a kick and misses. Kris Statlander then rears up, does the head kick, and this one lands. And then Megan Bayne stumbles to the corner, and Kris Statlander goes to the opposite corner. And when Kris Statlander started running towards Megan Bayne came out and speared her. And right after that, there was a big Megasis chant. And then they get back up again, and then they start doing clotheslines to each other and not moving. It was just two immovable objects beating the hell out of each other. Statlander gains momentum, hits Megan Bayne, and then does the scissor kick. And then pretty much Stat goes on the offense. She tries to do the Wednesday Night Fever. Bayne counters with a big German suplex. Like moments later, Statlander's on her and Statlander are on the apron. Statlander does the backdrop on the apron. Megan Bayne rolls in the ring, and Kris Statlander is like, has her back turned, flexing her muscles. Megan Bayne gets up and she's fucking pissed. Stands on the bottom rope, grabs Kris Statlander from the back, does the German suplex and suplexes her into the ring. Holy shit. That was a hell of a spot right there.
So good.
Megan Bayne's a beast. Megan Bayne puts Kris Statlander on the top rope, and her and Statlander are fighting back and forth. Kris Statlander gets the best of Megan Bayne. Megan Bayne falls down. Kris Statlander starts climbing, gets out of the prone position, starts climbing to the top like she's going to jump. Penelope Ford comes out and pushes her down off the top rope. So Kris Statlander flies off the top rope and falls down. Megan Bayne gets up, hits her with the F5, gets the pin and the win. Right after that, Penelope Ford slides in the ring and starts beating up Stat on the ground. And then we get probably the most awkward part of the night.
Mm-hmm.
Thunder Rosa comes out with a chair, and she runs to the ring with the chair, and it was kind of weird, man. It was like she didn't know what to do with the chair. She didn't even try to swing it or anything. She was just handling it all weird. And when she had it behind her head and was about to swing it, I don't know. It might have got caught. I don't know. It all just came off super fucking weird. And at one point, Penelope Ford's like, "Well, you're not gonna swing it. I'm just gonna take it from you." And then her and Thunder Rosa were like fighting for the chair, and then Megan Bayne stood in front of it, and then was like, "Yeah, whatever. You're not gonna do anything." And her and Penelope Ford walk out of the ring, and that's the end of that part. But yeah, like, what did you think of this, man?
I'm gonna talk about the awkward part first before I get into gushing about the match.
Yeah.
I do think that I don't know who messed up, but I think someone was supposed to like try to catch the chair or something. Like, I don't know what it was, because there was a point where Thunder Rosa was like about to swing, right? Like you talked about it just now, about to swing, and then she didn't, and like I feel like someone was supposed to like stop it, or like Megan was supposed to do something. I don't know who was supposed to do something, but someone was supposed to do something, right?
Yeah. It was weird.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like they'll iron that out for next week. I'm not gonna trip about it too much. It's definitely weird, but I saw people like crashing out over it, and I don't think it's like, it's weird for sure, but I'm not, oh my god, how could they do? It's not that big of a deal. Mistakes happen. Like this wasn't a mistake where someone gets hurt. It was a mistake where someone probably missed a cue. Whatever. I'm not too worried about that.
Right. Yeah. No, that's why I said it was awkward. It was just awkward, like how everything was going down. I was like, something might have been supposed to happen here, but it just didn't happen.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know. And then she was like, "Oh fuck, what the hell am I supposed to do? Am I supposed to swing this chair? What am I supposed to do?"
That match though, bro. That match though. One thing I'm gonna say about it, I'm very happy that Megan didn't just win clean. I love that so much. Like, let this continue. We talked about it on the podcast. The second that Megan Bayne showed up, we were like, Megan Bayne, Kris Statlander, make it happen. We got on a random Dynamite, which is fantastic, and we're gonna get a feud out of it. They're adding Thunder Rosa and Penelope Ford. That's all wins in my book.
All W's.
All W's. So let's let them do what they're gonna do. I would love it to be on like the pre-show or something, like a little tag match between the four of them. Let that continue. I love every bit of that. Minus the awkward stuff. I love that this is a feud that's happening right now, and I love that there are more non-title feuds happening in the women's division. It's definitely, we've had a couple. They've been around. We're not gonna pretend like they haven't been around, but they're needed and they feel bigger now, which is great.
Yeah, and they're across both shows, right? Like, we'll talk about the other one that pops up on Collision, but yeah, they're across both shows, and I think it's great. The women's division feels just fantastic, and I don't care what anybody says, and I'll say it week in and week out. You can agree with me or not agree with me. AEW has the best women's division in wrestling right now. Yeah, full stop.
It's not. I don't even think it's like a. I don't think it's an argument right now. I saw people being weird about like, oh, NXT is the best one. NXT got a couple of heavy hitters in the women's division, right?
3, right? Well, okay. In my opinion, they got 3: Jordan Grace, Julia, and Stephanie Vacker. And then the 4th would be the that one Australian girl that they got. I forgot her name, but that would be the 4. And then they got a lot of people under, because like Roxanne Perez is on the main roster now, so can't count her. But it would be Roxanne Perez too, and she'd round all that out. But she's on the main roster, as she should be, right? So,
but either way, AEW definitely has the best women's division in wrestling right now, like for sure. Like I don't think it's a competition.
That's not even close.
No.
So if we're gonna talk about, no, we don't even have to talk about that, because it's like, as far as like women getting airtime, AEW women are getting the airtime now.
It's been like on and off for sure, right? Because there was definitely an episode a couple weeks ago where like, what happened to all the time all the women had? It's coming back now, which is great.
Yeah, I like, as far as that, I think NXT. I won't say NXT gives them the most, but they're showcased everywhere. If you know what I mean. It's not like they're in the ring all the time. It's just that they're showcased everywhere.
You know what's funny about that?
What's up?
I actually do hear more about the women in NXT than I do anyone else. Like as someone who doesn't even keep track of what's happening in WWE or NXT, I hear more names of the women's division NXT than I do like anyone else. And low key, I'm talking like company wide. As someone who doesn't pay attention to WWE at all,
yeah,
I hear more about the NXT women than anyone else.
Well, there's reasons, but yeah.
If it's a dope division, it's a dope division. I mean, look, they got Julia, Stephanie Vacker, and Jordan Grace, right? Like by default, you're a top tier women's division. Like I don't care. Yeah. You have like a base like that, you're a top tier women's division. You are. That's just how it is.
That's just how it is. Yeah, and they got. Yeah, there's no. I'm not going to talk down about that women's division, because they got. They're good. They're pretty damn good.
Yeah, right? they got women like Sol Ruka too. Who I'm forgetting a bunch of people, but they have a good division over there. So,
Yep.
The facts are facts, right? That's just how it is.
Yeah, no, they have a good division. I think they like almost match. Actually, as fucked up as it is. It's not even fucked up. It's truth. They're better than the Knockouts division now, in my opinion.
I mean, the Knockouts division got like ransacked. Like that's
Yeah.
more that's a low key TNA's fault also because they just got taken out, right? Like Jordan Grace left, Naomi left, right? Deanna Prazo left.
Yeah.
What Giselle Shaw, I don't think she's there anymore either.
Nope, she gone.
Yeah, a ton of the top women in the Knockouts division dipped. They're gone, right? So, like, that's not even in the control of TNA. Well, it kind of is, but it kind of isn't.
I think I would say it more is because, like, the Jordan Grace thing is that they didn't feel like she was worth the money they were giving her.
That's crazy.
So, it's something close to that. Because she re-signed with Scott D'Amore when Scott D'Amore was still there, and then found out he was leaving, and then they're like, "Let's renegotiate your contract." And they're like, "Can I just leave? How about we not, and I can just leave?"
Yeah. So like it sucks. It sucks for them, but yeah, that's on them. If they didn't see like the talent of Jordan Grace, that's stupid on them. So like
Well,
Jordan Grace was there. Oh, go ahead.
It's not just her. It's not just her. It was just there was a bunch of wrestlers like that they did that to. It wasn't just her. But they were like, this person isn't worth it. You know, like stupid.
Men, women, and non-binary. A lot of them are just dipping out of TNA right now because, you know. Oh, you know, since we're right here, the one thing that I saw, we don't have to talk about it super hard, right? I saw that we're getting Moose and Oba Femi.
Yes.
I saw that clip. Like and like I said, since I don't pay attention to AEW, to WWE or NXT, if it comes to my timeline, people are excited about it. I was like, oh shit, Moose is in NXT right now. X Division champion Moose, he's gonna wrestle Oba Femi. Okay,
and lose to Oba Femi, but yeah, no, I think it's a great feud to do. I think Moose has no business being in NXT. He should be fighting somebody on the main roster, but whatever.
You can say that about Jordan Grace too, if we're being honest. It's the same with Stephanie Van Kerr, same with Julia.
Yeah, they, but that's a whole nother rant. That's like a whole different show.
Oh yeah,
like if I start ranting on that, that's like a 2-hour rant. So I'm not gonna get into that.
That really would turn this into a 4-hour podcast. So yeah, we'll talk about it eventually, but we can move on then.
Yeah. So, okay, back to like, so after that awesome match with Megan Bayne, Kris Statlander, probably match of the night. Not probably, it was the match of the night.
Mm-hmm.
Them girls went at it. Renee is talking with Max Caster, which is funny enough becoming one of my favorite segments on like both shows. So she mentions to him that he's 0-2 in his open challenge and wonders if he should stop it. And he's like, no. He says, he's pretty much saying, hey, the problem is those first two guys were fucking psychopaths. They're crazy. One was chasing me around. He called Hangman Hang Person. Hang Person Adam Page chased me around the arena before we even wrestled. So he's like, hey, the next person that answers the open challenge, I want them to meet me in the middle of the ring, shake my hand, look me eye to eye, and know that I'm going to beat them because I'm the best wrestler alive. So, oh man, poor Max Caster. We'll talk about it on Collision, but God, it just gets worse.
Mr. 0-3 soon.
It's soon to be 0-3. Like, oh man, but yeah. Well, hey, he shook his hand. You just say that.
Hey, wait for the bell to ring too. Everything.
Yeah, everything. Whew. Like after this, Ricochet comes out, and I'm gonna take a moment and say, The best thing Ricochet did was get out of WWE. And also the best thing Ricochet did was become a heel.
Oh yeah.
Because he's coming out now, he's getting all the boos, he's getting all the reaction, he's showing personality, he's doing everything he wasn't allowed to do in the other company. Everything that he wasn't allowed to do. And he's one of the you had this talent right here. And I say it, talent. He was just sitting there. They wouldn't let him do anything. And now he's like one of the top heels in the company in AEW. And pretty soon he's probably going to get some gold too. Don't know which one. Shit, I'd be happy if it was the TNT title. That's a whole different story.
Mm-hmm. We'll talk about it.
We're going to talk about that. But, it comes out to the boos, and then, he pretty much called, I agree with him on this. He called Phoenix, Arizona a poor man's Las Vegas.
Yeah, take that. That's what you get for stealing our double or nothing.
Eat it. Thank you, Ricochet. We see eye to eye. I probably seen you at Las Vegas Athletic Club. We see eye to eye, Ricochet. And he even continued. He's like, hey, he's got a helicopter waiting for him to take him out of here because much like Kevin Durant, he's trying to get out of this boring ass town. That set them off even more. They were booing even harder.
I mean, we don't talk about NBA on here, but it's a really ugly story right now. We're not gonna get into it. This is a really ugly story.
Oof. And then he cuts the winner's promo, and then shows off the robe, and then he's like, "Hey, the next thing I want some titles. I don't just want this robe. I want some titles." And right after that, Prince Nana comes out. And, hey, Nana did the thing. He was asking nicely, hey, give me the robe back. Everybody that's had the robe has earned the robe. Is the top of whatever they're doing, they get the robe. He's like, hey, just give me the robe back. And Ricochet looks at Nana and is like, okay, take it. And Nana was like, oh, shit. he was like, oh, God damn it. And Ricochet leaves. So I'm going to say this. If you remember back to, I think it was last week, when Nana was talking to Swerve and was telling Swerve to, just leave this stuff alone. Swerve was like, no, I can't leave it alone. Nana now is probably going to go back to Swerve is like, get him. I tried to do this and I tried to do it diplomatically. We got to do this the hard way. We can do this the easy way or the hard way. We're doing this the hard way. And Swerve, he's going to unleash Swerve. Swerve's going to get his ass. Swerve's going to be on his ass now. Without any restraint. What you think, man?
I know we've been chatting. This one definitely deserves a long conversation about how good this segment was between Ricochet and Nana.
Yeah.
Ricochet's out here looking like $1 million, by the way. Like you already talked about it. Like he is just a natural heel. He's really good at it. Right? He's in there, he's getting bad talk. He looks phenomenal as a heel. He looks great in the robe too. And it just he just looks and acts like a top heel in the company.
Yeah.
And then when Nana came out there and Nana tried to be diplomatic and he was like, hey, look, you're great. I know you're great. You won. You took it. This robe means a lot to me. Just let me have the robe. And then Swerve, Jesus Christ. And then Ricochet's like, nah, make me. And just, we got to talk about how good Nana was too, because Nana also plays his role perfectly.
Nana was perfect.
So we're going to see where this leads up, right? Swerve wasn't here, so we're going to see where this leads. But I think you're right. I think Nana's going to be like, okay, I know I've been trying to get you to get away from this and move on and try to go back for the world title, but we got to stop Ricochet. and that's gonna be that when that moment happens. Oh, we get a part 2 of that great match they had in Atlanta. Oh man, I'm all for it.
Yes, sir. Yeah, it's gonna be great. And then, I'm gonna say one thing about the whole stupid discourse about the robe. It's like, hey, just like many of other AEW stories that actually have a story that goes back way before that robe has like a 20-year plus story going on with it,
Yeah.
right?
Do people not know that?
People do not know that. So they're like, oh, well, you guys talked about CM Punk and the bracelet. It's like, dude, that bracelet doesn't mean shit. Okay. Like, that bracelet thing was just made up at the last minute. The robe actually has story to it and has had story to it for like 20 plus years.
Yeah, this isn't just it's not he didn't make that robe for Swerve. Like Nana has had that robe, and as a manager, he's given it to all of his top stars. Like that robe has seen world champions. So
Right.
like it's different. That's why that robe meant so much to Nana. You can see it in his face. Yeah, y'all don't be weird. Just because you don't know something does not mean that equate it to the bracelet thing. No, just stop.
To the CM Punk bracelet thing? No, get out of here.
Just stop. You think a bracelet like one of those like EDC bracelets means as much as like a custom robe? No, I can look. You know how easy it was for WWE to mass produce them. They sold the bracelet.
They tried.
They put it. Look, I don't know how many they sold, but they put up on WWE Shop. I saw that. So they tried to sell it. So if it was really, you can't get the Nana robe. Like you might be able to find like a random one that like someone like sewed together and made, but you're not gonna get like a proper replica. So y'all just stop. It's not the same thing.
Yeah, it's not the same thing. And WWE was trying to merchandise that bracelet, and the person that actually made the bracelet was like, "Hey, can I get some money from that?" And then they stopped immediately.
Greedy ass $1 billion company. You couldn't give a little kickback? Jesus Christ.
Yeah, man. But yeah, that whole segment, fantastic. But Ricochet gonna get his ass kicked with the gloves are gonna be off.
Oh yeah.
Really gonna be off this time.
Oh yeah.
So after this, we had our main event of the night. We had Roddy Strong versus Orange Cassidy. This was a pretty fun match. I'm not going to completely go over like this match because there was a lot to happen, but there was a few things that happened. Like in the beginning of the match, Orange Cassidy and Roddy Strong, they were fighting, and Orange Cassidy would roll out the ring and hug Kyle O'Reilly to piss off Roddy Strong after he do a move. Roddy Strong would do the same thing, but he would hug Kyle O'Reilly and Adam Cole, and they were going back and forth doing that, pissing each other off. And there was one point where he hugs Kyle O'Reilly and turns around. Adam Cole is there, and he's like, "Ooh, yeah, I'll take a rain check on that one." Then rolls in the ring. But yeah, these guys both you could see why they're both been the international champion. They're just fucking workhorses, man. That's what we got. We got a workhorse match here.
Mm-hmm.
Them guys were working. They were going back and forth in this match, but in the end, Orange Cassidy won with the orange punch, and he pinned Roddy. They all left, but and Tony Schiavone came to the ring and he started talking with Orange Cassidy. Before Orange Cassidy could say a word, we hear Don Callis' theme song with Takeshita and Mark Davis coming out. And Don Callis, he pretty much sends them after him. They start beating up Orange Cassidy, and as soon as that starts happening, Kenny Omega comes to the ring. And in the beginning, they get the best of Kenny Omega at the start. Until Takeshita tries to do the Raging Fire on Orange Cassidy. Orange Cassidy reverses and does the Stun Dog Millionaire. And, Omega, he fucking knees the shit out of him. Out of Takeshita. He falls out of the ring onto that ramp. And then he picks up the International Championship. And he's holding it, man. He ain't giving it back. Usually they hold it and then they just throw it outside the ring to the champ. He didn't even give him his title back. He was looking at Takeshita and then he started looking at Orange Cassidy. And the whole time he was looking at both of them. And Takeshita and all of them left. And Kenny Omega still had their title. Still had Takeshita's title. And had it in the ring showcased. And I'm guessing he probably said something after the cameras went off and stuff like that. But but yeah, that's how we ended the night. So what are your final thoughts, man?
I think this was a good episode of Dynamite, like all together. I do think that for the first time in a little bit, Dynamite was like the best AEW show this week. We'll talk about a little bit more of that when we get to Collision. Also, the main event was fantastic. Like, the main event was just, as expected, it was going to be great.
Yeah.
But that's really all I have. I don't have any other thoughts.
Yep. The last two matches of the night, they were ridiculous. Well, actually, starting from Megan Bayne and Kris Statlander on, it was just knockout blows. They were all fantastic. Dynamite was a great show, man. Like, I enjoyed every bit of it. Started out hot and just kept going.
Yeah,
the show.
I don't think there was a single miss on this episode. Like, I think, like, if you had to, I don't even think you have to call it a miss, but I don't even think there was a miss this episode. It was a really good episode of Dynamite.
Yeah. There was only one awkward part, and that was about it.
Yeah, that's really it.
It was just a miscommunication. So, yeah. Other than that, man, yeah. That is AEW Dynamite, guys. Let us know what you think in the comments below. What do you think about that Megan Bayne, Kris Statlander? What do you think about the main event? What do you think about Hangman? What do you think about Max Caster getting his ass kicked? Let us know what you guys think about Dynamite. But with that, I got to pass it over to Lionel for Collision.
Oh, man. Collision, I think it was an alright show. I think it was pretty good. There were definitely a lot of highs. I'm going to talk to you about that Jericho match because I was like, oh, that Jericho match was really good. Bandito did 95% of the work. But we'll talk about that once we get to the main event.
That's always good.
We start with Collision. We get our little rundown on the card. We get to see Harley Cameron. We get to see Bandito, Jericho, and Toni Storm. Like, we're hyping up their segments, right? Usually this is when we get the music. Saturday Night's Alright for Fighting. Did not happen because Toni Storm got attacked by Mariah May backstage. Like, it looked vicious too, by the way. Mariah drags Toni out to the ramp, and then hits, like, it wasn't just a normal Storm Zero. Storm Zero. Mariah jumped and then did it. It was a jumping Storm Zero on Toni Storm. So Toni Storm is just out of it. Obviously. Out of it. She grabs a mic and tells them to hit her spotlight. She goes into the spotlight, drags Toni Storm's lifeless body with her, puts her on her chest, and is like, you never knew how to write an ending. But don't worry. Don't worry. At Revolution, we're going to make sure that we have a Hollywood ending. So that did get announced officially later on in the night. Mariah looked unhinged. Toni looked dead. And that's how Collision started. Do you have any thoughts on that?
That start to Collision, that is a way to start a show, man. That shit was crazy.
God, it was great way to start off hot.
Yeah, and again, showing why Mariah May is one of the best. Just saying.
Next up, right after this, we got a little update on Buddy Matthews. We got to see like a little background of the match between Okada and Buddy, a video package. I mean, they announced that Buddy's ankle is injured. We don't know what the injury is. Hopefully, it's not long. Get well soon, Buddy. Okada is on the screen, and he's basically just saying like, "Hey, I took that bitch down. Whoever's next, let me know. I'm ready." So we're gonna get another Okada match at some point. We don't know who's gonna be against, but Okada's ready to wrestle. Right after this, we get probably the match of Collision. Opening match. We have Hologram versus the Beast Mortos.
Yes.
God, I have all the notes for this match all written down. I don't know if I'm gonna go through the whole thing, but I'll try to like speed through it just to make sure, because this match was crazy. Matches normally start with the collar and elbow tie up. That did not happen. Mortos ran over Hologram with the shoulder tackle, and then bealed him across the ring. But because it's a loser match, they're not stopping. Crazy. Mortos runs over to Hologram. Hologram uses the ropes to dodge. He's dodging a couple times. Then he hits a crossbody and then a Hurricanrana on the outside of Mortos. So Mortos is outside. They're going crazy. It's all this happening in the first minute. We had 4 big moves happen in the first minute. At one point, Mortos hits a pounce. Like the tornado on the outside and the Hurricanrana didn't really do anything to him. And after Mortos pounced Hologram out of the ring, he hit him with the tornado, which again didn't take us that long to sit down, but we hit a commercial break. Mortos did have control throughout the commercial break. I'm on Triller. I can see that. I'm sorry, y'all. I can see it, but nothing really happened. But when we come back to Collision, Mortos and Hologram are jockeying for position at the top on the top rope, and Mortos grabs Hologram, puts him over his head, and gorilla presses him off of the top rope. That's what you see the first 5 seconds coming back from a commercial break, by the way. Crazy. Yep. Mortos takes Hologram to the other side of the ring, brings him up, and tries to do it again, but then gets hit with the Hurricanrana and a tope. Like, the tope, like, it hit Mortos hard. But again, didn't matter, because literally 15 seconds later, they're both up and they're on the ramp on the other side. And this is where we should mention that on Dynamite and Collision, this is an elevated ramp, right? So you walk to the ramp, you don't have to walk upstairs to get onto the ring, you can just walk into the ring. At one point, Mortos hits a crucifix bomb on the outside the Hologram and throws him to the ring for the 2 count. But it doesn't matter. They go back outside, and Hologram bounces off the ring and hits a sunset flip bomb on Mortos on the outside of the ring. It looked nasty. Mortos looked like he hit the back of his head real hard on the ramp. And by the way, it's a concrete floor that just has a little part that's covered with a ramp. It sounded nasty. It looked nasty. It was bad.
Yeah, it was bad.
Bad. But again, because we don't have a second to breathe, Hologram picks up Mortos, throws him back in the ring, and then hits a crucifix bomb from the top rope. So Mortos on the ground, Hologram is on the top rope. He jumps onto Mortos and hits a crucifix bomb. They're just going crazy. It doesn't matter. Mortos gets up again, his Death Valley driver, and then hits like a disgusting looking backbreaker. Just Hologram looked dead. But it doesn't matter, because now we're going to get to the end of the match. None of this mattered. We didn't have a second to breathe this entire match. They didn't lay down for 5 seconds.
They got tired midway through because they were going so fast.
They didn't stop.
Because, like, Jim Ross even was talking. Oh, actually, before we continue.
Uh-huh.
I love the Collision announce team having Jim Ross and, and crew. I thought that was awesome.
Oh, yeah, Jim Ross, Excalibur, and Tony Schiavone.
Yep.
The OG Dynamite crew. For those who don't know, fun fact. It was great to hear them all. And they were on the show all night. And it was great. You know what? Now that you mentioned that, I need to talk about some JR quips as we go throughout the match. Or throughout the night. Because JR has some good stuff he has to say on commentary.
JR was going in, man.
Going back to the match, Mortos tried to hit Hologram with the powerbomb, but Hologram looked like he slipped out of his hands. Like, he threw him up real fast because that's how they've just been going. Slipped out of his hands. Hologram hits a running Spanish fly, but again, they're both up immediately, and Mortos hits Hologram with the lariat. They're down now for about 10 seconds. But again, doesn't matter. They get right back up. Mortos tries to throw Hologram off the top rope again, only for Hologram to reverse it and then hit a sunset flip bomb for the 1-2-3. And Hologram wins and remains undefeated on Collision. Right after the match, they didn't stop again. Mortos gets up immediately and attacks Hologram. Immediately after the match. Like they didn't just have a 20-minute war. Commander comes out, and Hologram and Commander look like a good team. They took out Mortos with a couple really dope tag team moves. They look like.
Man, okay, let me say something real quick.
Get it?
I need that tag team.
Oh, they look so good. They did 2 moves together. They look like they've been tagging for 45 years.
Yeah, man. Those 2 moves alone, how good they did that whole thing. I was like, wait, hold up. We got something here. This is a tag team that needs to happen.
Oh, it has to. Like, it's guaranteed now, right? They didn't do that for no reason.
Mm-hmm.
They're gonna be a tag team.
Yeah, tag team champs at some point.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Just not against the Hurt Syndicate.
No, oh no. They need at least like 8 months. Whenever Hurt Syndicate loses it, then we can talk about contention.
Yeah.
But you have any thoughts on this match or the segment?
Oh man, it was the best way to start out Collision. Well, not start the best starting match of Collision, I should say. Because I love me some Beast Mortos, and we have Captain Collision back on his show.
Oh yeah,
Hologram. And how are you gonna have Collision without the captain? So yeah, he was there. He was doing his business, and it was fun to watch. That match is always fun to watch.
It was so good. I loved it. I loved every second of it.
Yep.
After we got a video package for a new AEW signee.
Oh,
Speedball Mike Bailey got a video package.
yes.
Speedball, if y'all don't know who Speedball is, they're a really good wrestler. Fantastic. Can easily run in and be TNT champion. I'm just saying. I'm not putting that out there, but I'm putting it out there. I know you wanted to also, because you talked about it on Dynamite episode.
Yep. I'm just, putting it out there. Somebody that can put some respect on the TNT title's name and actually do some matches and defend it. If he does it anywhere close to how he was doing the X Division Championship, it will be the best TNT title run that they've had.
Still, very dumb, because he put himself in very dumb situations in TNA to where he didn't have to, he didn't have to put himself in like matches where he had to qualify for matches, but he was doing that. Great wrestler. We're gonna talk about him being dumb on AEW more than likely, I'm guessing.
I'm ready for it.
Right after this, we get a Harley Cameron promo in the ring. This is really just Harley being Harley. I didn't take a ton of notes on it, but I can tell you, she was talking about a little girl in Australia who had a dream. She wanted to be a wrestler. She had big dreams. Big dreams.
Yeah, I bet.
She said she watched wrestling. All she wanted to do was be a wrestler. But that was her neighbor. That was not Harley Cameron.
She said she stole her dreams and made it hers.
Stole her dreams.
Which is the best.
This is just Harley, like, just being in front of the crowd, which AEW does not do this enough. But when they have someone that's really hot, they've been doing a little bit more lately, which is nice. But when they have someone that's really hot, put them on the show, give them a little promo segment. Harley was out there for maybe 2 minutes. Wasn't even that long.
Yep.
She's also great on the mic, too, so it just worked out.
Yeah, that's all you need.
Yeah. That's really it. I don't know if you have any thoughts on that segment at all.
No, it was a fun segment. I liked how she was. I liked the story that she was leading on about, because everyone's like, "Oh, it's her story," and she's like, "Nah, this is this other girl's story, and I just stole her dreams." I think it was like the best.
That's Harley for you. She's fantastic.
Yep.
Right after the promo segment from Harley, we had a match. New Japan's own strong openweight champion Gabe Kidd versus the Butcher.
Big Butch.
Big Butch. I'm gonna note right here because I'm not gonna talk about it again. Don Callis was in the back watching.
Mm-hmm.
So there's something about to happen. We don't know what it is yet, but we don't. There's not really a lot to talk about the match. It was a car crash. This is how Gabe Kidd wrestles. If this is your first time seeing Gabe Kidd, if you did not watch Wrestle Dynasty, if you don't watch New Japan, and if you have missed out on the rise of Gabe Kidd over the last year, Gabe Kidd's looking like the guy right now. So,
yeah,
you get to see him. He's a smash mouth. He likes to talk a lot of shit. That's how Gabe Kidd is. And he did that in this match with the Butcher. Butcher tried his hardest to get a couple strikes in. Did not work. Kidd at the end of a short match, it was pretty short, hits a nasty lariat into a pile driver. Pin Butch for the win. Talking shit the entire time. Any thoughts on this match? Or Don Callis watching in the back?
Look, the Butcher actually took it to him, man.
He definitely tried.
He left this big ass mark on his chest. The Butcher's big ass hand was on the side of his chest where he chopped him. Because Gabe was doing the chops at first, and Butch was like, "Yo, you gonna really chop? Come on!" And then he showed him how to chop, and that shit was loud. And he left a big old Butcher handprint on him.
Mm-hmm.
And they were fighting. Hey, the Butcher, he was going back and forth with him. We'll put it like that. But one thing I want to say, because they said this was the Butcher's 110th match.
He used to wrestle a lot on AEW Dark. He wrestles a lot on I don't know if they count Ring of Honor. They might have counted Ring of Honor too. He wrestles a bit on Ring of Honor also.
No, I actually believe it, because like when the Butcher and the Blade were the thing, they were always on. Like if there was somebody going, they always had to go against the Butcher and the Blade. They had to go through them first, right? But I think the Butcher just needs a small run. He doesn't need a championship or anything. Just like a run where he's just like running through guys. Like, well, not running through, but he can do good matches, right?
Yeah, he can.
He's got the look. Let him get in there and do some, get a bunch of wins under his belt to look like a big contender. Because I think like the way he looks and all that stuff, he can pull it off. Instead of like being the enhancement guy all the time.
Butch can wrestle too. I can say the same thing about Queen Aminata. We'll talk about her a little bit later too. But they're definitely in that same boat where Big Butch, he can go out there, he can have a hell of a match. He did have a hell of a match with Gabe Kidd. Wasn't long, like maybe 5 minutes, right?
Right.
But it was a good match. It was a very good match. I would also like to see Big Butch have some more time on like AEW TV, more than being just enhancement. Like I said, you can see him on Ring of Honor. It's great there too. But it's just nice to see like a lot of the like older people from back in the day, from like first year AEW, still going around, still kicking, still doing things. It'd be nice to see him win a couple times.
Yeah, just let him have a little run. Hell, even if it is in Ring of Honor, let him have like just a run of some type, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think that would be cool. Queen Aminata is a different thing. We'll get in. We'll talk about it later, but she's on the cusp of something, and it's a different. It's a different thing. Yeah, we'll talk about it there.
Oh, we'll get there.
Yep,
we're getting pretty close.
Mm-hmm.
Next up, we have Don Callis and Kyle Fletcher backstage. Lexi was about to ask about the being Australia, but Kyle cut her off. Kyle just cut her off a lot because he was upset that he was getting booed in his home country, upset about Ospreay, saying that he didn't have his own time and stuff like that. But Lexi was actually going to ask about the steel cage match that Ospreay challenged Fletcher for at Revolution. Don Callis came up and he was like, "Oh, Ospreay's lucky that Fletcher Ospreay's gonna kill. Fletcher's gonna kill Ospreay. He shouldn't have done a cage. He's an idiot. We're gonna make sure that Fletcher goes in there and kills him. And then Fletcher's like, all Ospreay does is take. And you want my answer for the steel cage match? I accept. So it was already official, but it's now official. We're gonna get Kyle Fletcher and Will Ospreay in a steel cage match in a couple weeks at Revolution.
That's gonna slap.
It's gonna be so good. It's gonna be so good. Next up, we have the woman of the hour, the woman we were just talking about, Queen Aminata against Julia Hart.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how I want to talk about this match. Queen Aminata took control very early with a kick to the back and a running PK to Julia, penalty kick. Queen Aminata was hitting a couple of overhand chops. Julia takes over, hits a couple of herself. And this was like the back and forth we got until we got to the commercial break. Commercial break, wasn't really a lot happening, so I don't have to talk about it. I saw what was happening. Wasn't really a lot. Y'all didn't miss anything. Don't worry.
Yeah.
Once we return, Queen Aminata hits a backbreaker on Julia Hart, and some of the nicest snap suplexes I've ever seen. Like low to the ground, actual snappy. They looked fantastic, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's just how Queen Aminata is. She looks, whatever she does, it looks fantastic. Julia does take control and tries to hit a moonsault, only for Queen Aminata to get out of the way and reverse it. Put her boots up, like hit Julia look like in the bottom of the jaw, look nasty.
Yeah.
Then grabs Julia and does a couple belly to back suplexes. Again, form 10 out of 10. That's just how Queen Aminata is. Queen Aminata did it a couple times. On her last attempt, Julia stops it, reverses it into the octopus hold, and Queen Aminata taps out, and Julia Hart gets the win. What are your thoughts on this match and Queen Aminata, bruh?
Okay, this match was good. It was probably one of Julia Hart's best matches since she's been back, right? And it's also because it was against Queen Aminata. So what I was going to say about Queen Aminata earlier is that she's on that cusp, like pretty much she's like, what is the best way for me to say it? There's a lot of wrestlers that come into AEW, and when they're new, until they, and I'm not saying she hasn't proved herself or anything, just, this is just the statement. Like, until they, like, get to that point where after they prove themselves and things like that, go with what they're getting, all that stuff, then everything turns and then they start winning. I feel like Queen Aminata is on the cusp of the turn, right? She's always in there putting on great matches with everybody. Hell, she just did, before Julia Hart, she did it with Toni Storm. Pretty much two former champions, and put on great matches with both. She's a future TBS champion and future world title contender. That's what I see right now. If she keeps going the way she's going, she just has a state of course. It's like she'll be on that, like eventually she's going to be on that tier where she's like Kris Statlander, right? Like that. Anytime she gets in the ring, she puts on a fantastic match with anybody and everybody, and it's always like good. I think she's on the cusp of like being on that level, like, just to be honest. And she has a great style, like a fantastic style, a mix of like what makes of strikes and like some like technical things like suplexes and things like that. She has all the tools, and I think she's on the cusp of taking it to the next level.
No, I wholeheartedly agree. Like wholeheartedly. Like she had those great matches against Mercedes. You talk about Toni Storm. She had a banger against Athena on a pay-per-view. It just, Queen Aminata's Harley Cameron gets a lot of talk about her, right? Because Harley Cameron has improved. But we talked about in the podcast last year. We put Harley Cameron and Queen Aminata on the same place. It's just that Harley Cameron gets on TV more often than Queen Aminata does. That's really the only thing. You put Queen Aminata on TV as much as you put Harley on TV, you get the same result. Mm-hmm. But with a better wrestler in Queen Aminata. And that's no flack to Harley Cameron, because I love her too. Oh, yeah. It's just, that's how good Queen Aminata is right now, with the same amount of time. So, go ahead.
You get two different sides of the coin. Queen Aminata is like, the wrestling part is short. She's ridiculous.
Oh yeah.
That's why I compared her more to Kris Statlander more than anything. Mm-hmm. Harley Cameron's the other end of the coin, which is the entertainment side. She has decent wrestling, but it's she gives the entertainment part, which I'm not saying that's why she needs to be on TV more or anything else or anything like that. I'm not saying that. Yeah. I'm just saying it's just more like it's just the two sides of the coin. Because if you do the other part, you have to compare to is who's wrestling all the time. Queen Aminata is wrestled more than Harley Cameron.
Yeah, she wrestles in like almost said AEW. She wrestles in Ring of Honor damn near every other week.
Yes. So it's like it's two sides of the coin, for the most part. But yeah, I agree with you though.
She's so good. She's just so good. She's
fantastic.
We're gonna go on from talking about a very fantastic wrestler to a couple of murderers, because the next match that we have are the Murder Machine versus Victims, and I say Victims because I don't even think we got their name.
No, we didn't.
No, they were in the back. They got thrown out by Archer and Cage, who are the Murder Machines, if you did not know. And they basically got their asses beat for about 3-4 minutes. Brian Cage was throwing somebody around. Lance Archer was throwing the other person around. They swapped and threw them around. They died. That was it. Murder Machines won this in a few minutes. That's not what we're here for. Mm-hmm. What we're here for is when the Murder Machines took the mic. Brian Cage is talking shit about the Her Syndicate. Lance Archer talking shit about the Her Syndicate. They're both saying it's only a matter of time before we take those tag team titles. It's a bad call because you hear the music. You see the people. They're all chanting, "We hurt people." Her Syndicate comes out on the ramp. All looking like $1 million again. All got their suits on. Those titles that have been on TV every week. Not lost on a team that AEW doesn't believe in. That hurts. It still hurts. But anyway. MVP is a little annoyed that Cage and Archer think they could just call out the Her Syndicate because they're not champions. The Syndicate are the champions. But MVP said he's going to do them a favor. If the Machines can beat a real tag team, then they can talk about a AEW World Tag Team title match.
Oh boy.
Bobby Lashley looked like he was about to go in there and attack them right then and there. Security was like, no, please don't. We can't do anything to stop people. Please don't. MVP was like, relax. If y'all can beat a tag team, we can talk about it. And they left. And at some point, we're most likely going to get Syndicate and Murder Machines. I don't know when. I'm guessing Revolution. That'd be a great match. We'll see what happens.
It's going to be the Haas match of the night, man.
Ridiculous. you have
four Haas's going at it, man. What the hell?
Give me more. I can't wait for that. It has to be Revolution. It's going to happen, and I am excited to watch that match.
Yeah. I thought the whole thing was great. Like, they just they killed those guys, man. They announced Archer and Cage, and while the other guys were getting killed, they didn't even announce those guys. They rung the bell and just let them get the shit beat out of them.
And God, did they get the shit beat out of them?
And they called out the wrong people though. The Hurt Syndicate. It's you're gonna talk about the segment later on, but yeah. The good news is you get a title shot. Bad news is you get a title shot.
Oh, we can't lose.
Idiots.
We'll talk about that. We'll talk about that a little bit later.
Yeah.
But we got next up. We got a couple of very quick video packages before we talk about what we really need to talk about. We got Lio Rush and Action Andretti. They revealed a tag team name, which is Crew, which means we're gonna be seeing them pretty soon. They got a tag team name now. They are, if they weren't already an official tag team, they are an official tag team now.
Yeah.
Right after that, we got a backstage segment from Dynamite where Kris Statlander and Thunder Rosa were talking about taking on Megan Bayne and Penelope Ford. Also, Kris like, they want to make us look like idiots. I forget exactly the words she said. You want to make us look like idiots? We'll fight. So they might use that little awkwardness in the storyline coming up with them, which I think would be a really good idea. So we'll see what happens there. We got to talk about, I guess we're not really going to talk about the match, but we had an AEW World Trios Championship match with the champions, the Death Riders, Claudio, Pac, Wheeler Yuta, versus the challengers of Angelo Parker, Matt Menard, and TNT champion who is not defending his championship but trying to win another one, Daniel Garcia. I'm not going to talk about the match, but I'm going to talk about what happened after, and then I'm going to just pass off to Proffitt after that. Because I know Proffitt got some things he want to say.
Oh, I got some shit.
Oh, yeah, we're going to talk about it. Match was a decent match. I thought it was a really good match. Like I said, I'm not going to talk about it. We're not going to break it down. That's not what we're here for right now. Angelo Parker does tap out to Pac's Brutalizer. Like, that's it. Done. After the match, the Undisputed Kingdom comes out, and they're trying to fight the Death Riders. They kind of get them out of the ring. Everyone's kind of jockeying. Then Adam Cole and Daniel Garcia have a face-to-face. It doesn't look like it's for the TNT Championship. Like, they just fist bumped. So I guess we'll find out what that's about pretty soon. Hopefully that's like a challenge for the TNT Championship. Didn't really seem like it. Pac was still in the ring. Pac gets hit with a couple of like face moves. He gets knocked out. And then Copeland comes out with 2 chairs with a very blank look in his face. Like, he doesn't look like he's like in Phoenix. I don't know where he is, but he's not there. Mentally, he's like not there. He takes the chair, puts it under Pac's head, takes the other one, and hits Pac with the concerto twice. So Pac is dead. Moxley comes out. Moxley looks scared to death, by the way. Scared to death. The rest of the Death Riders are just looking. They're like, oh my God, what? I can't do anything. Like, I whatever. But this means that Cope took out the first member of the Death Riders. Also means he took out 1/3 of the AEW Trios Champions.
God damn it.
So which means we're probably not going to get any. We got 2 back-to-back Trios tag team matches. We're probably not going to get any more for a little while. We can talk about that later. We'll talk about that later. That's not what we're here for. We need, and I told Proffitt that I put this in the notes, that we need to take some time and we can talk about Daniel Garcia and we can talk about the TNT Championship. Proffitt, take it away.
All right, guys. As you have heard the past few weeks, my biggest criticism of, Daniel Garcia in his TNT title run is he just doesn't defend it. He goes for, and anytime you see him with the title, he's trying to go for other titles, which makes no damn sense. And, oh man, it sucks. It really does suck because the TNT title should be a championship that guy is, he should be fighting every week. It's literally called the TNT Championship. It's the fucking TV title. Defend that shit every week against somebody. Or we got to give it to somebody that can, like, Speedball Mike Bailey. But my main thing, and it's still my criticism, He should not be going for all these titles. Because like you're the TNT champ. Anytime you go for a different title on the show, you can't defend the title. It makes no sense. He's stuck in this. It's just this weird thing where he just never defends his title. He defended it 3 times over 90 something days. So every 30 days he defends the title once. And that makes no damn sense to me. Like you look, that title needs a revamp, is what I'm gonna say, or needs somebody that wants to defend it every week. Hell, I don't care if you give it to like Orange Cassidy or somebody. That'd be great because if he does the TNT, what he did the International Championship, the title's gonna be full of greatness, right? But I feel like somebody like Speedball Mike Bailey could slide in there and do that too. Yeah, it makes no sense. He shouldn't have been in this 3-way match against the Death Riders. There's no point. It should have been like, maybe the Undisputed Kingdom again going against the Death Riders. Maybe somebody else, some other trio. It doesn't matter, right? Daniel Garcia shouldn't have been in that match. He should have been defending that title against somebody either that night or on Dynamite. That's it. Stop him with that 2.0, him and 2.0 doing stuff. I get it. They're like, if they want to be a trios, name them 3.0 and take that title off of Daniel Garcia. Have him lose it to somebody that actually wants to defend it. That's going to be my main thing. Like, I'm just going to criticize it every time I see it, every week. Him not just defending the title. We got to wait another 30 days for him to defend it. It just sucks. And still, Miro has the best title run of the TNT Championship, and then Cope is like right after that until he jumped off the top rope. Off the top of a cage.
That damn cage.
Right. So, yeah. So his title run, abysmal. Especially since he just keeps going to other things. Like, as soon as he wins the title, he goes to the Casino Gauntlet. It's like, what the fuck are you doing? Yeah. I get it. Yeah, you want to be 2 titles fucking Garcia. Fuck that shit. Make your title run great. Make it great. Right now, you're making it trash. That's what it is. It's in the garbage can right now. You had like, all 3 of those matches were good, and that's it. You should have about 20, 30 good matches already. That's how I feel about it.
At least once every other week, right? Like bare minimum, once every other week.
Yeah.
Because you can say what you want about. We'll give another TV champion, Mercedes. Say what you want about Mercedes. Out there defending that title. Like she has like what? She has like 14 defenses or something crazy like that.
14 defenses.
Insanity. I know she's been champion longer, but she's wrestling. She's having matches, or at least in a feud with people, right? For the TNT Championship. Like everything that Mercedes does is for a championship that she has. One of the 3 that she has. Right?
Right.
Garcia, he won the championship, immediately went to the C2, the Continental Classic, right? Was in there for a month. Then started doing this shit with the Death Riders again. He'll defend the title every once in a while. Briscoe, Lee Moriarty, and then the 3. Oh, Briscoe, Shibata in the 3-way. But that's it. Yeah. And if we're talking, he did those in like the span of like a month, and that was it.
That was it.
And the TNT Championship has a legacy, right? Like Cody was defending it like every other week, right? Making that thing look amazing.
Yeah.
Right, back and forth. You talked about Miro. Miro, as much as he had problems in AEW, he was defending that title every other week. Bare minimum.
Yep. Bare minimum.
Darby Allin was out there defending that title, getting thrown around every week.
Mm-hmm.
Even like champions that people don't even like Scorpio Sky was out there defending it whenever they let him on TV.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like they've had it. Sammy was defending it every once in a while when he had it on TV, whenever he was allowed on TV. It's the only TNT champion that has not defended the title consistently is Garcia. and it's hurting the title because he's actively doing everything else. Like the title with Garcia is just a prop, and that's not what a title should be. A TV championship should be defended on TV. And the fact that just drop, at this point, just drop the title. Just drop it. Whoever he wrestles next, drop it. Just let it go. Let him go do what he's gonna do. He does not need to be TNT champion to do what he's doing. Let's move on.
Yeah, I agree. Like, you want to chase all these titles? Okay, drop that TNT title. Go chase titles now. Go chase and lose. Right? Like, go do that. Right? But let's get this TNT title back to where it used to be. It's a title that should be defended on TV almost every week, or there should be some feud where somebody's trying to take that TV title. It should be one of those titles that is like everybody is trying to get. If you're not in the running for any of those other titles, you're trying to get that the TNT title. It's pretty much an open challenge title. But because he's doing everything else, no one can challenge for the damn title.
Yeah, it's frustrating to see. Right? Like, AEW does have a title like this. Like, we just talked about the Shield Championships. Shield Championships probably aren't going to be defended again for a little while because Pac's gone. Right? So, like, AEW does this. This is why, if they're going to do, like, seasons with these championships, they need to be more defined. Like, tell me why Garcia hasn't defended the championship since the three-way. And also, if we're going to talk about it, he's barely scraped by on these defenses. Like, all three he could have lost easily. So what makes him a deserving TT champion? Like, great, he beat Jack Perry. Congrats. Right? Jack Perry was also, he had a rocky start, but he started wrestling every week. For the TNT championship. Open challenges. Garcia hasn't even done like an open challenge thing. We got the three-way, we got Shibata, and we got Mark Briscoe. And that's it. And Mark Briscoe had the challenge wait till after the Continental Classic to challenge.
Yeah.
So he had the championship for a month and didn't defend it already. So something has to change. He doesn't need the title anymore. Give it to someone who will defend it every other week. Put on banger matches every week. It's time.
Yep.
You got any other thoughts on that?
No, that's why, that's my main thing. It's just like you hit the nail on the head, and we discussed this. It's just that championship needs to be defended every week. It needs to be on TV every week. He shouldn't be challenging for these other titles. Make that TNT championship something great. It should be like, in my mind, right, of how that title should be. It should be like the New Japan Intercontinental Championship when that was out, right? Even old WWF, WWE, whatever you want to call it, Intercontinental Championship, the way they had it way back in the day. And if you've seen, I'm not talking about that garbage that's now. Back in the day, your best workhorses had that title, and it was literally like you'd want to see that title match because they were always as good, and most times better, than the World Championship matches. You got everybody trying to get that title. All your workhorses are trying to get that title. You got the story title, which is the World Championship, but you got that work title that's on TV every week, and the guy, whoever's holding it, is like the best of the, still is like the best of the best, prepping himself for that world title run. That's where we need to get on that TNT championship.
I think the problem was that title, like you mentioned, that's actually a good point. The TNT championship right now doesn't have an identity. Like, that's the worst part about it, right? Like, you want a workhorse championship, right now it's the international championship.
Right.
Orange Cassidy made it that way. Oh, go ahead.
At one point in time, it was the TNT championship. And it's like the international was pretty much, it was supposed, like, the original concept for the international championship, or the North Atlantic championship, or whatever they called it before, was a traveling title that could show up in any promotion. That was the whole point of the international championship. They're getting back to it now with Takeshita. He's going like everywhere defending it. And if Kenny wins it, of course Kenny's going to be everywhere in Japan. But that's the identity of that title. International championship is like an international style world title that you could take and defend at every company, like the New Japan Strong title. That's the international championship in my eyes.
Yeah, I agree.
The TNT championship is home in AEW at all times. It should be on the defended on TV every week. That's your title. That's one of AEW's titles besides the World Championship. Has always defended in AEW. Is on TV every week. And then you got the Continental title, which is a title with rules, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's the, that 20-minute time limit title with rules and, always a clean pin and all that stuff. So, yeah, I don't know, man.
Yeah, something's happened. But I think the first thing that has happened is Garcia needs to lose that championship. Like, if he's not going to focus on being a TNT champion and defending that belt, it's time for him to drop it to someone that will. Anyone that will, honestly, at this point.
Yeah, I agree.
Next up, we have a little backstage segment with the Vendetta. They are once again going after Harley Cameron. Deanna said, "Oh, you might have beat Taya Valkyrie, but you haven't faced all the Vendetta." So we got the match confirmed. Like, Harley is going to be wrestling Deanna on Wednesday, so we'll see that happen. Right after this, we have the Max Caster Best Wrestler Alive Open Challenge.
Oh, God.
A couple of your talking points from earlier, that's what he said here. He said he was disrespected by Hang Person Adam Page. Said he wasn't ready, that he hasn't been ready for these matches, and whoever comes out here needs to look him in the eye and shake his hand, right? So he goes back, he gets ready, he's bouncing the ring, and then we see who it is.
Oh, no.
His next opponent in the Best Wrestler Alive Open Challenge is Brody King.
Oh, no.
And
It's getting worse.
He just gets worse. To his credit, he did shake his hand. He did. And then he gripped it, and Max Caster couldn't get away. His hand was hurting. And then he proceeded to get killed. Brody King won this match in about 3 minutes with that cannonball senton in the corner. 1, 2, 3, ended the match. Max Caster is now 0-3 in this open challenge. You have any thoughts on this one?
Best part of the night is Max Caster getting his ass kicked.
Every time.
But he needs to put stipulations on this, man, because it's all these monsters in the back that are coming out and just killing him every time.
We're leading up. He's gonna have a back and forth with Bowens whenever Bowens comes back. Like, we're leading up to that, so we'll see how that goes. But yeah, he is just dying every week.
Like, he could do the challenge, and then like next week, Big Bill comes out.
God bless.
Or like the next person comes out is Hobbs. Like, or Gabe Kidd comes out and kills him. It literally monsters in the back, are that don't have shit else to do. Which are there's some people back there. They're just gonna come out and kill him. Like, even the Butcher will come out and just kill Max Caster. He's put some damn stipulations on there.
He tried today. He tried on Collision. That didn't work. So we'll see what happens with him. Who knows?
Say less than 50% win rate. Say something.
Yeah, don't just make it an open challenge. Put some stipulations on here. Please.
Get what's that team that loses to Hologram?
The varsity athletes?
Yeah, put the say it
premier
has
athletes,
to be
yeah,
one
yeah.
of the premier athletes next, and even they'll win.
They've been gone for a while too. I kind of miss them on TV. I know we talked shit about them like a couple months ago, like every week, but I kind of miss them.
Hey, they played their role.
They did. Next up, we go backstage again, and the Outrunners are back there. They're, talking. They're excited about what happened in Australia. They had a really good match in Australia. They're like, oh, we can't wait to see what happens next for us. The Syndicate walks by. And the Outrunners being very dumb. It's like, hey. We heard what you said out in the ring. So what you're saying is if we beat a real tag team, we can get AEW Tag Team Championship match, a Tag Team Championship title opportunity. MVP's looking at them. He looks at Bobby, looks at Shelton. He's like, oh, okay. If that's it. If you beat the Murder Machines, well, I have good news and bad news for you. If you beat the Murder Machine, the good news is if you beat the Murder Machines, you get a AEW Tag Team Championship match against the Syndicate. The bad news, if you beat the Murder Machines, you get an AEW World Championship title opportunity against the Hurt Syndicate. And they walk off. And Truth and Turbo looking at each other like, that's a win-win. Oh, we can't lose. So sometime this week, we're going to get the Murder Machines versus the Outrunners. Should be a good match, but we'll see how that goes.
Yeah.
Anything on that one?
I just think the Outrunners are hilarious, man.
Yeah, they are.
Like, we can't lose. It's like, oh no. You do know you're going against the Murder Machines, right?
Yeah,
Two determined Murder Machines.
And if you somehow got past the Murder Machines, they would hurt you. Only for you to get to the Syndicate.
Yeah.
Bad news for you either way.
Yep, you're screwed.
Next up, we have to talk about the main event that tricked everybody. I see y'all talking. We're going to talk about it. We have the Ring of Honor World Title match that should be on Ring of Honor TV, but I'm not going to complain about that this week. I do it all the time. Champion Chris Jericho against Bandito. I'm going to go through this pretty quick because y'all can't trick me. They tricked y'all. Can't trick me. Jericho starts by poking Bandito in the eye. But Bandito doesn't have control for long because Bandito was able to get him out of the ring and hits a tope and a over the top rope dive. But again, Bandito doesn't have control for long either because Jericho was able to hit a code breaker from inside the ring while Bandito was springing off the middle rope. So now Jericho has control and the crowd starts chanting a very loud "Please retire" chant. Usually Jericho ignores this. He kind of just lets it go, but I don't think he's heard in a little while. So he looks like he's getting, what'd you say? Me? Retire? And then JR's like, he just repeats the line that he said because JR was speaking. And then Jericho's like, say what you said again. And then he just repeats it. Hilarious, JR. Hilarious. And from this point, I'm just going to talk about a few spots. And I want y'all to see if you hear something from these spots that I'm talking about. All right? Jericho's on the outside on the ring apron, and Bandito hits a Hurricanrana, and Bandito hits the ground hard. Pretty hard. Next spot, a couple minutes later, they did the showdown spot again for the third time. Jericho literally just stole that from a bounty hunter. Just stole it. He's done it now twice to Bandito. Because he saw people were super excited about it, so of course Jericho has to be like, oh, this is what you want? I'm going to do it. And I'm going to run to the ground because that's what Jericho does in 2024 and 2025. Yeah. Bandito hits an Eddie Guerrero style frog splash. Looks fantastic. That's what Bandito does. Bandito at one point has Jericho up on the top rope. He picks him up. I don't even know what this move is called. He picks him up from the top rope and does a backflip like a moonsault senton or something. I don't know what it was. I've seen it before. People have done it before. He did it on Jericho's big ass. Like, just took him, threw him. It was great, right? Jericho gave him no help. He just picked up Jericho and threw him.
Yep.
Finally, Bandito has been in control for a majority of this match, and he's like, okay, let me hit the 21 plex, which is that bouncing like belly to back suplex that he does from off the top rope, and does the belly to belly back. Jericho reverses it because that's how Jericho lost on Monday, into a small package for the 1-2-3, and Jericho retains the World Championship, the AEW, the Ring of Honor World Championship. Now, if you were listening, if you heard me, audience, what spots was I talking about? Who was I talking about 99% of the time?
You were talking about Bandito.
Everyone's like, oh, this was such a good match. Chris Jericho, he tried to shut everybody up. Chris Jericho did literally nothing. Literally nothing. Chris Jericho got beat up for a majority of the match and was just hitting chops. Bandito did all of the work in this match. 95% of the match was just Bandito either chucking Jericho around or hitting him with a move. Nothing else. And he convinced y'all that Jericho convinced y'all that, oh, he took it up a notch. No, he didn't. Jericho's actually worse now to me than he was 2 weeks ago. Because now he's just blatantly stealing spots from the Bounty Hunter. When him and Bandito did that spot the first time when they did the stare down, we were all excited. It was great. So because of that, Jericho sees it and he does it twice. Bro, you're not fooling me, Jericho. I can see what you're doing. Stop stealing from your people. But that's all. I'm gonna stop there. That's all I have, because I'm gonna actually get mad. What are your thoughts on this match and on Collision?
My thoughts are like, yeah, Bandito's the man, dude. Like, that guy's awesome. And yeah, like, now that you talk about it, you know what it reminded me of?
What?
Moose versus Matt Hardy.
Oh God.
But actually, like, I'm gonna just say that was worse.
Oh yeah, At least, like, I can give Jericho this. Jericho at least he tried something. Like, he tried the lion salt, right? Like, Jericho did a couple things. Bandito just took over everything. For that match, I don't think Matt Hardy tried to do anything. I think Moose did literally everything.
Moose literally did everything. And Matt Hardy, like, barely walked over and stuff like that. So I think, like, yeah, the Moose versus Matt Hardy match is like the fucking worst. But you know what? Hey, for what it was, Bandito did excellent. Bandito had an excellent match.
It dragged Jericho to having a good match.
It was almost reminiscent of the first time they fought, because this is the second time they've went for. They tried to say it was the first time they went for the Ring of Honor title. This is the second time.
Yeah.
Jericho did that open challenge thing, and Bandito was the first person to come out. That's how Bandito got signed to AEW.
Yeah, it's a couple years ago.
Yeah. So, that version of the match was way better, though.
Oh yeah. Jericho actually tried back then. Jericho does not try anymore. I don't know if it's because he can't or he won't, but he does not try anymore.
Yeah. But with that, overall, I felt Collision was fun. Collision, I'm just gonna say, Collision was Collision.
It's definitely a good episode this week. Dynamite. This is the first week in a couple weeks that Dynamite has really taken being the best show this week, but Collision was still pretty good.
Yeah, and overall, and just like the complete picture, both shows were fun.
Oh yeah.
I came out happy after watching both shows. Shit, I watched Dynamite twice, right? So yeah, both shows were great. I can't wait to see where the stuff goes this coming week, man.
This week is exciting because we're super close to Revolution. we're getting right there. We need a couple more matches to round this out, but this Revolution card, we're potentially going to get Momo and Mercedes on this, on top of MJF and Hangman, Osprey and Fletcher. Cope and Mox should be a good one. Hangman, MJF. I know I said that already, but I'm gonna say it again. There's a lot of really good matches that are coming up. We can add a couple more. Omega and Takeshita. Like, there's a lot of good matches coming up on this card. And we can add a couple more, make this perfect.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, to round it out, we need a few more. Maybe, just maybe, Daniel Garcia will... They'll hear this, and they'll make Daniel Garcia defend the damn title on the card or something, and make him lose.
I would love to see Garcia Cole. Like, I would love Cole to be TNT champion.
Oh yeah. It'll be like his if he does it anywhere close to his North American title run in NXT. Black and gold NXT. Anywhere near that, TNT championship will be somewhat redeemed.
Oh yeah. But yeah, man, I think like AEW, like people have been talking about, AEW's been like a hot streak for a while now, but really the last like month and a half, they've just been hot. So they've been continuing with it. It's been going. So I love to see what they do next. I want to see how they round out this Collision. I want to see how they round out this Revolution card.
Yeah, AEW is interesting. Like when you see its hot streaks and stuff like that, because it's a ramp, like a serious ramp. It like once it goes, it just pings up like it's, and then it lasts for a while, and then a pay-per-view happens, and then it goes down a little bit, and then they're like, "Oh yeah, we got another pay-per-view," and then it peaks again. It just goes crazy for like when it's pay-per-view season, it just goes crazy for about 3-4 months straight, especially back-to-back ones.
So we'll see how this goes. We'll see what happens. I had to mention this because I didn't mention this. We get Toni Storm and Mariah May again.
Yes,
that's another one that's like really exciting about this. Like we have a couple more matches to round this out, but Revolution is looking like it's going to be a very good card. Oh yeah. You got any other final thoughts, Proffitt?
Nah, man. That's it, man.
All right, Pro. You know what time it is.
All right, guys. So, first off, you made it this far. Thank you very much. We really appreciate everybody that comes and watches and listens to the show every week. For that, thank you. Comment. You hear me right now. Comment, motherfuckers. Do some goddamn comments. We got to talk about this. We got all this good wrestling. We got 2 shows worth of wrestling that we are talking about, and everybody's silent. Come on, let's get some conversation on. I know I said some things that you don't agree with. You don't agree with it. Comment. Let's talk back and forth. Let's get that conversation going. Everybody in the community, comment. Let's do that. So with that, I ain't gonna have you get on the top rope this week because I saved that. So I just need you tap that like button, subscribe, hit the bell button, because you'll get all of our shows, as I mentioned in the beginning. You get 3 podcasts, not just 1. And yeah, with that, we're out.
Peace.